Welcome to the Kingdom Culture Podcast that was created on purpose with a purpose to empower, uplift, and guide others to the center of God's perfect will. Kingdom Culture family, welcome back to the Kingdom Culture Podcast. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. I wanted to talk about having a mentality of abundance because this past week I caught myself sitting in comparison. I was comparing myself to people in my field, and I felt like I wasn't doing things fast enough or as good, and that made me think about how much of a lie that is, because I am doing all of the work. I am putting in the hours. And I am focused on growth, but we're all in different lanes, when they say hyper focus and just go down your path. I kind of forgot that and was comparing myself kind of like to somebody's chapter 20 and I'm on chapter 5, right? So I was like, wait, I'm in the wrong mindset. How can I switch it to abundance? How can I switch it to being more grateful and present? Because I will get there. One thing about me is I'll never quit, and I'll keep going, and I will get to where I need to be eventually. But I started to think, I'm like, how many times do we actually sit and be grateful for what we've already accomplished, what we already have? Being excited about where we're going, because there's never a finish line, right? There's always just a destination. And I wanted to talk about it. So let's dive in. What is a mindset of abundance? It is about believing there's more than enough to go around. Whether it's love, success, opportunities, resources, whatever. Instead of feeling limited or stuck in a lack of things, or in a lack mentality, where we think things are scarce and hard to get, an abundance mindset focuses on growth, possibilities, and trusting that good things will come. With this mindset, you don't worry about what others have or are doing or feel threatened by their success. Instead, you celebrate it, knowing there's space for everyone to thrive. It's about seeing challenges as opportunities for growth and believing that with the right focus and energy, there's always more to gain. So when I was researching, right, what is abundance? I was like, that's so true. There's not a lack of things. I think there is this fear or this consumer mindset that we have grown into in the United States, right? Where it's go get your own, go get it because somebody else is going to take it from you. When in reality, there's more than enough to go around. God has made this world to be abundant. You can just look outside and see how abundant the life that, the world that He created is. Even with an apple tree, right? There is this thing that I read that said, the purpose of an apple tree is not to give humans apples. It's to create more apple trees. Every apple that it makes, it's to make more apple trees, because the seeds of the apple will go into the ground and make more apple trees. It's not worried about its fruit. It's worried about making more apple trees. And so if you think about that, that's an ongoing forever thing. So it's amazing. The universe, we are just one little speck of what the Lord has created. There is millions and millions and millions of galaxies out there. I think I read once that there was septillion stars in the universe or something like that. That's 7 with 20 something zeros, 24. So, if we focus on the good things, if we focus on abundance, then of course we're going to take a step forward. But if we focus on scarcity, we're going to be I'm too late to the party. Why start now anyway? I'm never going to get there. There's not enough people. There's not enough whatever. why would I even take action towards the thing that I want? Right? So let's start to, we have to start shifting our mindset to being grateful and realizing that if you want something, you have to go get it, right? Like put in the work, right? The energy, the time. But somebody else's success is not keeping you from your own. Somebody else, or something else isn't keeping you from your own. Sure, there's environments and there's things that we have to make sure that we align, but do not be afraid to go after something because you think that there's not enough of whatever it is, right? And I wanted to share with you guys, how we can start to cultivate a mindset of abundance or gratefulness, right? For me, I always try to think about what I've already done, being grateful, right? Reminding myself that I've come so far, reminding myself that, God has me in his hands and I can't be fearful of not having enough because it all comes from him, for me personally. But like sit and be grateful for what you have, because there's people in a worse, environment. There's people in a worse lifestyle that want what you have. So becoming grateful allows you to just stay in that positive mindset. And also, like, I always talk about reframing, because sometimes our thoughts are not true. So you have to reframe your negative thinking. You have to stop and think, like, is this thought really real? So reframe your negative thoughts. And so when you catch yourself thinking, I don't have enough or I can't, reframe it into something positive, like I have everything I need to succeed. Opportunities are always around me. I have enough with what I have, I have enough to start. I am working towards gaining something instead of using I can't, I won't, it's not here yet. Try to reframe your thinking and your thoughts to something that will make yourself feel better and focused on the good things that are to come, and not feel like you're behind or feel bad because you're not there yet, because you're always going to be working on something. It's just remaining present and allowing yourself to just reframe your negative thoughts. Another thing that I just implemented, because I found myself not doing it as much, was celebrating others and their success. So instead of feeling envious, scared, I want to start cheering for others, reminding myself that their success doesn't take away from mine, and it doesn't take away from my potential, because they're doing the work, and I can't blame my results on somebody else's success, because that's got nothing to do with it. Another person is not in my shoes. Another person is not, who I am. So there's no way that they can take away from my success, right? And we all have the same 24 hours. So what are you doing in those 24 hours, to get to your goal? So reflect, but celebrate other people. And realize that their win is your win. And this should be inspiration, because if they're doing it and it's something that you want to do and they're seeing success, that just means that you will get there. And it's proof that it's possible. So celebrate other people's wins, right? Another thing is to release your scarcity mindset. Let go of the idea that you are in competition with others, or that there's a limited supply of resources. Trust that there's enough for everyone, including yourself. Start thinking about, what your actual goals are, because sometimes we look at somebody else's life, we look at the lifestyle, we look at the money, we look at the cars, but like, do you really want that lifestyle? Like, because there's always a price to pay for something, right? So really sit down and think about what lifestyle you want to have, and stop thinking that there's not enough. For me, I always thought that I wanted like a big house and a bunch of cool cars, because I'm a car girly. Like, I love 60s, 70s, and 80s cars. Funny enough, my 9 to 5 is sales in we focus on car parts. So I always get to see like what the cars will look like before they're released. But anyway, I always thought I wanted a garage full of cars, and that I wanted this big house so that me and my mom can live with it and just travel the world or whatever. And in reality, I honestly just want to have my mom not work at all and be with my son 24/7 and have enough to just travel and see my friends within the United States and maybe go abroad a few times a year. But other than that, I'm happy with the house that we've built. You know, I'm happy with the location that we're at, and that's more than enough for me, right? And so I know that will bring me, happiness. I will feel successful if I am able to just work for myself and provide for my family and have trips, and have time freedom and location freedom. Like, that's it. I don't need fancy things. I found out that the mindset that I had when I was 18 is totally different than the mindset that I have now. So don't compare yourself to other people, and don't start something with the wrong intention, right? Because I think that's where your scarcity mindset also comes in. So start journaling, start releasing, their negative thoughts, start focusing on what you actually want. Write it down, put the goals down, put it in a note card, look at it every day, and realize that it's possible because other people have done it. And that's how you release your scarcity mindset, right? And be open to new opportunities, even if they can't come unexpectedly. Sometimes abundance shows up in ways we don't anticipate. So always be in the lookout for new opportunities. Like, what are your passions? Where can you find more fulfillment? One of my mentors always says that if you don't prepare for opportunities, they will just go to somebody else. So start, shifting your habits, your lifestyle to be ready for new opportunities, because we all know that sometimes big opportunities take a lot of our time and money. So what can you do in your life right now to, set aside money for those types of opportunities? Because when they come, it will be too late to prepare. So keep that in mind and be open and realize that you are full of potential, and you can pick up something and try it out and fail forward and see if it works out for your lifestyle, right? So always remember that there's more than enough to go around. You will not, be limited by what somebody else is doing, and you are in charge of how far you go with whatever you have. But be grateful, stay present, and allow yourself to enjoy what you've already accomplished. Because that's the biggest lesson that I've learned. I'm 30 years old, and I feel like I'm very well, put together. But because I'm 30, I'm running out of time. In reality, that's not true. The best is yet to come, and every day that the Lord gives me is a blessing. So I have to be grateful for it and live that day and live my life day by day, bringing it 100% and making sure that I put my full potential to that day, so that tomorrow, if given, is aligning to the future that I want, right? And as always, my goal is to bring you guys a Bible verse every single week. And the Bible verse for this week is Philippians 4:19. And it says, "And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of his glory in Jesus Christ." This verse reminds us that God's provision is limitless, and we can trust that he will provide everything we need. It's a perfect reflection of having faith in abundance rather than living in fear of scarcity. So for me, right, it's a different mindset as well, because I don't have to seek out for everything in my own strength and whatever, right? The Lord always seems to give me what I need when I need it, and it's up to me to use those resources in the correct way to take a step forward, right? And it also takes away the the fear of not having enough. It takes away the mentality of like, I'm going to run out. It takes away the mentality of, oh man, I never get out of this cycle. So being a Christian, we have to put our faith forward and be smart about how we go through life, because we know that God is the the one that made everything. So that's something else that's super cool. Like, just go look at the ocean, or like look at how many trees, like their seasons that they go through. Like, they're not worried about not having leaves again. It's just a cycle and like the seasons of things. So always remember that God will meet your needs. And He will not leave you. He will not abandon you. And if you're struggling right now financially or whatever else, I understand that. I've been there. So just hang on. Try your best to also be, working towards, paying off debt, or making sure that you are using the income that you do have to pull you forward, right? But God has you, and God will provide what you need when you need it. I have crazy testimonies where money out of the blue showed up in my bank account, or a check showed up in the mail. So for me, this is very real. And if you're not a believer of the Lord, that's totally okay, right? Just try to focus on what you do have, and use the resources that you have to pull you forward, to make sure that you're aligning yourself to the future that you want, right? So thank you so much for being here. I hope that you guys found value in this episode, and if you did, please share it. I think that organically we can grow this podcast, and it is a big blessing for other people. So I appreciate you being here and listening. And if you have a friend or somebody comes to mind that you feel like will enjoy this episode, please share it. Put it on your Instagram stories, tag me in it. And always remember that I love you, but that the Lord loves you more. Always, always, always. We will see you guys next week.